Now we are going to draw, we are at the portion of our video where we're going to draw furniture. So what we want to do is we're going to take the approach, let's see here. We'll take this approach. We're going to first figure out the footprint of this bed, how much space it occupies on this floor, and where the bed occupies, what, on the space that the bed occupies on the floor, where it is on the floor. So what we're going to do is just use the vanishing point lines that are already on the floorboards to help figure out where the head and the foot of the bed are. So when I'm talking about the head of the bed, that's where you would lay your head. That's that end of the bed. The foot of the bed, of course, is where your feet would go. Okay? And the length of the bed is the other question. How long is this bed going to, how does the length of the bed look in perspective? So we're going to first, let's start with a preliminary sketch. Let's not put the bed right up against the wall. Let's leave a little bit of a gap, because what we're going to do is leave a little bit of room to draw a headboard, and that is going to be up against the wall, not the mattress. So let's use this line right over here. It could be a different line for you, but let's just have the mattress. This is just the mattress and maybe the frame that holds the mattress that we're drawing. We're going to probably have a vanishing point 2 line, so it's going to angle like this over here. This is going to be the foot of the bed, so I'm going to just use the same line over here as the wooden board for the floor. And then it's probably going to angle something like this for the other side, and it's going to meet this line right over here. That looks like a good size. Don't be tempted to make your bed longer because you feel like, oh yeah, a bed is a long rectangle. Remember, you're looking at it from perspective. So the other end is going to be farther away from you, and from this angle, you're not going to see this really long bed. What you're thinking of is maybe like a side view of a bed where you see the whole length, but from this angle, there's definitely going to be kind of a distortion in perspective going on too. So I just want to get the footprint of the bed and place it, where is it going to be on the floor? Where is it going to be sitting on this floor? So I use vanishing point, actually these are vanishing point 1 lines and vanishing point 2 lines for the length of the bed. For the sides of the bed, they're going to go toward vanishing point 2. We're not using any vertical lines right now. We're just strictly using vanishing point 1 lines and vanishing point 2 lines to draw all 4 sides of the bed. So let's go ahead and use vanishing point 1 lines and make the line for the bottom of the bed a little bit darker so that you can see that. Okay? Also, I'm going to use a vanishing point 2 line to draw the length of the bed on this side. Oh my, that is definitely a lot different than what I expected. So the angle is a lot more flat. I also don't want the bed to be really close to this door. I don't want it to be like people to be bumping into the bed when they come into this room. So we're going to put it a little bit more to the left. So let's mark off where we want it to be, the space, and use that line and line it up with vanishing point 2 to draw the new line for the side of the bed. Okay, the side of the bed is going to be have to be right there. My line, it was just a guesstimate at what kind of angle that would be. That's way off. So I was way off there. I'm glad that we have these vanishing points we can use. I'm going to use double. I'm just going to say that there's a tiny gap between the wall and the bed. You can put the bed right up against the wall where the windows are, but I'm going to leave a little space. So I'm going to mark off a little space right before the point where you get to, like, this corner line. I don't want it to be over that much. And then I'm going to line up my vanishing point 2 with that point and draw my line out toward the left. Okay, so I was way off. This is a lot skinnier looking from this point of view. So that's kind of interesting. That's how it's supposed to look. I also kind of wanted to leave some space on either side of the bed because I didn't want it to be blocking the doorway, but I also wanted to be able to go around the other side of the bed, open and close my windows. Kind of think of it in like a realistic situation like that. How would you use this room? And how would you, get about to using the furniture in this room? So you need to make things, you need to draw things so that, they kind of make some sense. Sometimes when you draw things and it doesn't make sense, people will be like, well, how's that possible? How can somebody, where does that, staircase lead? How come that staircase doesn't lead anywhere? Things like that. You don't want to make a drawing that doesn't make any sense. That's my point. Especially if you're trying to be realistic. All right, so that's the footprint for the bed. So I'm going to erase, you know what? Let's keep some of those lines there because we don't know if it's going to be a bed that has a base that sits right down onto the floor or if it's going to be lifted up a couple of inches so that we can kind of see some of the floorboards going under the bed. So let's hold off on erasing that for now. I want you to draw some vertical lines. How about, you know what? We just need to draw this vertical line right here from the near corner to determine the height of the mattress. And when I say the height, that includes the mattress, the box spring, the bed frame, everything that the mattress is also on. So it has to include all of those items too. So it's going to be a lot thicker than just a mattress because we don't want to just have a mattress on the floor. We want to have it at least on some sort of a bed frame to hold the mattress off the dusty floor, okay? So I think that that's going to be good. That's a good width, maybe a little bit higher than that. Just use a vertical line. You're going to have to draw a vertical line, something that's going to be long enough to include, let's say this from here to here is the mattress, and from here to here is the box spring, and then from here to here, could be the frame and the legs if it's set into a piece of furniture. Let's see, should we make it a little, no, that's good. That's good right there. All right, so this is the only vertical line that we need, and we could get all of the other corners and heights for the different corners just from this vertical line and these points that we drew. Like from here to here is the mattress, from here to here is the box spring. So here to here is the box spring. That's the mattress, and this is the frame. Okay, so it's up to you. You might want a nice thick mattress, right? So from each of these points, I want you to draw to vanishing point 2. Okay, like that. Draw some vanishing point 2 lines. And what that will give you is the side view of the mattress or the length part of the mattress, okay? And wherever the mattress part is, let's just erase the lines for the floor. And right where the mattress ends, right here, I want you to draw a line straight up to meet the last vanishing point 2 line. Now I'm going to hover my head so it might cover the camera because I'm just trying to check that I'm drawing my lines all perfectly vertical. Okay. Erase any lines that extend out from the mattress and erase all the lines inside the mattress because you don't want the mattress to look like, or the bed to look like it's a see-through bed. All right, go back to this corner right here. And I'm going to erase my little notes about what's the mattress, what's the box spring, and what's the frame for now. I'll just remind you later. All right, from those 4 points, from those 3 points, draw to vanishing point 1 on the opposite side now. So I think I'm going to flip my ruler over like this to avoid that little bump where the paper attaches, and pivot my ruler to each of these points. Okay, so that's the other end of my mattress, and then from that corner right here, wherever I determine this foot of the mattress ends, I'm going to put a little dot there so you can see it. Draw a line straight up that's parallel to this vertical edge of the paper. Make it a vertical line, up and down line. Okay, and then have all of the vanishing point 1 lines end right there. Okay, that's good. And then erase the floor and the wall line and all that other stuff that you see within the mattress, because that should not be a see-through mattress, right? Okay. Okay. So now you can see the long side of the mattress. You could see the foot side, the foot end. Let's see. Before I erase this too much, the other corner was right over here, so I'm going to just make that dot a little darker so you can see, and draw a line straight up from that corner. I don't know how long that line should be, but I'm just drawing a line, just a long line, and I'll just erase anything that goes above what I need. All right, so from this corner right here, and this point, I want you to draw using vanishing point 2 lines and stop right here at this vertical line that I just drew. Okay, to draw the other side of the other long side of the mattress. That's the length of the mattress. Okay, let me just do that. Stop at that line. Pivot my ruler down. Actually, I don't even have to draw any of those other lines because they're not visible, because the top of the mattress would be in the way, and this is not a see-through form. Okay, so from this corner right here where this line met this vertical line here that comes up from the corner of the bottom rectangle that I first drew when I started this mattress, from here I'm going to draw to this point right over here at the top of this line right here. So from corner to corner we are going to connect, and you can use a vanishing point 1 line and that should connect them perfectly. Right. All right, and then you actually have to erase that vertical line because all of this information is actually not visible on this solid form. Let me just make this line a little darker so you could see the edge of the mattress. Okay, so that's how to draw the mattress, and we're going to erase that little corner of the room line because even that gets covered up by the mattress. So if we want to make this bed look really good, we need to have it be sitting in some sort of a structure. So what we're going to do is we're going to have it kind of sit inside of a box on the floor. And I've seen a lot of modern beds like that where they're literally, the mattress is sitting in a box and it has slats on the bottom to provide support. Can't see it because that gets covered up by the bottom of the mattress, but it's sitting in a box. So let's build a tray or a box that this mattress is sitting inside of. And it's a little bit tricky, but it is doable. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. So what we're going to do is I want you to look at this bottom portion right over here. And I want you to draw a line that is she does this when I'm teaching too. So I want to
Pause. I'm gonna let Toshi out. Toshi, outside. Let's go
Or take her downstairs.
outside, Toshi, outside.
She has to be saying something to us right now.
Toshi, outside.
You want to go outside? You know what? I think it's near the time for her walk, so she's talking to us. She's doing her Toshi talk. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we are going to draw a line to represent like how big this tray basically is that holds our mattress. It's basically the frame that holds up the mattress. How far out that goes beyond the mattress. So we're going to draw a vertical line right here. And then what we're going to do is also draw, I'm going to say, we'll draw another vertical line over here to the right. Okay. And it'll stop right here where the box spring ends. So if this is the mattress and this thing is the box spring, the thing that the mattress sits on, let's say this bed has a box spring. This is a kind of skinny, thin wooden tray basically that the whole bed sits on top of. So let's put a little line to the right over here. Okay? And this is not important. What's always important is to determine the size of things right here at this corner. So, okay. So we'll bring that down a little bit lower. Let's make it a little taller than I originally planned. And then from the bottom of that line, draw to vanishing point 1. And draw a line straight up a little bit past the side of the corner, this corner of the mattress, just a little bit past it, and make that a parallel vertical line right there. And have it go up to this line over here. And we'll use a vanishing point to connect the tops of those lines together. Okay. Now, and I'll just go over this line so that you can see it. It's going to get kind of confusing as we do these little details. If you are having a hard time following along, then I would do the best that you can and try to simplify it. Okay, if you can't see all the little tiny details that I'm putting in, try to at least draw the big lines, the big shapes. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is make the box that holds the mattresses basically look wider and bigger so that these mattresses can fit within it. Because you can't have two boxes, like you can't have a box slide into another box if the other one isn't bigger. If they're the same size, they're just going to sit right on top of each other, right? Okay, so now from the bottom here, draw a line to vanishing point 2 on the opposite side to draw the bottom of the bed frame. Okay, and you can erase all this stuff underneath. So we're going to have basically a tray or a box that the mattress is sitting in, and we're not going to put like legs or feet, basically feet on this to prop it off the floor. It's going to be right on the floor, the whole thing. From here, draw a line to vanishing point 2. Okay, that's that. It's already there. And I'm just going to make that line a little darker so you can see. And extend it to here and draw a vertical line right here on the end, right there. Okay, so now it looks like a box is sitting inside of a box, or it kind of looks like one of those clothing boxes, but turned upside down so that the lid is sitting on the floor. However, there is a piece of information missing, and it's very, it is important, but it's very hard to see. So what we're going to do is draw the edge of this piece of wood. So this is how you do it. You go to the corner right here and draw a vanishing point 1 line. And it's going to be the tiniest little line, and you'll hardly be able to see it anyway. Go over to this far left corner and draw a vanishing point 2 line to just show that there is a corner there to that bed frame. And then from where from that line meets the line for the mattress, draw a vanishing point 1 line. So that it looks like the other side of that edge is right up against the mattress. Okay, there seems to be a lot of lines here, so I'm just going to clean that up a little bit so you can see my lines a little bit more clearly. Maybe I'll even switch to a nice sharp pencil because all my pencils are getting kind of dull. All right. All right, so I just wanted to express that little change in angle. It's just the thickness of this piece of wood that makes up this box. I just showed that basically the top. Connect the corners just like in the windows, like the window trim. And now this little box down here looks a little bit more three-dimensional as well. Remember, everything should look three-dimensional in this world. It should not look as flat as maybe we're used to drawing when we were younger. You want to draw things really like three-dimensionally so they really pop out. Now what we want to do is to draw a headboard. Let's put a nice headboard against the wall here. And I want it to be a little bit closer to the doorway, so have it come out a little bit. So let's just say the headboard is up against this wall. Let's start from the wall and where the floor and the wall meet and go up. We're going to pass the light switch a little bit. And right now I'm just trying to figure out, okay, how big do I want this headboard? If it's really tall, it's going to look kind of luxurious. If it's short, doesn't look as impressive. So let's make it nice and tall. Go above the horizon line by about 1 inch, and let's stop that right there. Go over the line with your good line now. Keep it nice and parallel, the vertical line. We're drawing a vertical line now. Keep it nice and parallel to the doorway so that it doesn't look crooked. And then from that point, I want you to draw a line to vanishing point 1 to draw the top of that headboard. Like that. I don't know exactly how long to make that, so I'm just drawing a line. And now if you look here at the corner of the mattress, this inside corner here, I drew a little point there. If you draw a line straight up from there, that will tell you where to stop drawing the headboard. So let's do that. Draw a vertical line straight up from that point, and that's where the headboard should end. And then just erase any lines that, goes over. Okay, and that's the corner of the room. Now, we got to do the same thing with this headboard. We need to make this headboard look three-dimensional. So how do we make it three-dimensional? So the headboard, let's make it go, okay, so this is the back corner. So let's use vanishing point 2 from that back corner to figure out how thick to make the headboard. Okay, it's about yay thick down here, this line. Bring that line straight up. Okay, so that's the thickness of the headboard. I'm going to erase this angle here at the corner because that that angle should actually tilt downward. So I'm using Vanishing Point 2 to create a line that points slightly downward from that inside line to the outside line. It's very, very kind of not noticeable. It looks almost like a horizontal line, but it's not. It's actually angling slightly downward like that, right here, this line. So that's how you make the headboard look three-dimensional. And if there's a little gap right here, fill it with a Vanishing Point 1 line. And that's a line that's really barely noticeable, but it is there. There should be no open gaps in a closed form. Okay, if you're trying to draw a solid or closed form, there should be no gaps between your lines. Right, okay, so that's your headboard. Boy, that headboard looks like the most uncomfortable slab of wood. And the mattress looks pretty hard too. So let's soften that up in a little bit. We're going to draw a little bit of upholstery. So we can have the headboard and kind of like a little wooden frame, or the actual base could be the piece of wood. But then over here, let's draw some sort of an upholstered padded surface right over here. So how do we make this part on this inside rectangle look like it's made out of soft material or it's puffy? What we can do is create like a little curve right here at the top, at the corner, from the corner on down, and then the rest of it can just be a vertical line that's parallel to this outside edge vertical line. And then go over here and kind of parallel that, but make it a little smaller since it's further away. And that would be a vertical line. And then this would be a vertical line that connects the top of this curve to the top of that curve like that. So now it looks like you have kind of a cushiony, like upholstered, padded, maybe there's some styrofoam, like some sort of styrofoam sheet in there and some fabric covering that. So now it looks like something a little bit fancier. Okay, so what if you wanted to maybe put some buttons or something like that? We need to, let's do this. There's no formula for this. We could cut this in half, but I'd like to cut this into thirds. So I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to say a third is about here and another third is right about here. Why is this space here getting smaller and smaller and smaller? Because this bed is supposed to be drawn in perspective. So we could actually use this curve right here as reference. At the bottom of the curve, I'm going to draw a line to Vanishing Point 1, just where it starts to, straighten out. And I could say, okay, that's where that curve should end on the opposite side. So it should be curvy only up to there, and then it should straighten out once it gets to that line, like that. Although that looks a little extreme though. Okay, I think my paper was all scrunched up. All right, right there. Should be more of a curve like this. All right, so let's go ahead, draw a curve right here, draw another curve right here, and then draw two lines going straight down from those curves. Keep them nice and vertical. And I'm going to show you what I'm up to in a second. Okay, and then let's cut this into thirds too. Okay, we can erase this line and this line. Let's say a third would be just along this inside line. Let's go over that with a ruler. And let's go over this one with a good vertical line here, our good lines. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Right at the center of each of these, at the intersection of each of these lines, we are going to draw a button. And that button is going to look like, I'm going to say it's going to look like an oval going in the, like a vertical oval, kind of like a long skinny oval, because we're looking at this slightly from the side, right? This bed is slightly tilted, so we kind of are looking at an angle. And when you come to the button, slightly bring your line inwards. And then on the bottom, do the opposite. Bring your line outward and kind of make a little puffy poof. Go in, then out, like that, just to create a sense of that kind of that the button is actually pressing that material down. And the same thing over here, kind of have the line go outward and then kind of come in where you see the button. Okay. In and then kind of slightly bend upward that line. You could show like the edge of the button, but you know what? That's just too much. You can't see that because it's just so small. And then erase your original lines. You're just trying to create like a little indent right where the button is, because the button like kind of pushes the material in. So now you have a lot more of a comfortable little, like a headboard to this bed, a lot more luxurious. Let's go ahead and shade the edge of this headboard so that it's you can notice the change in angle. You know that that's a change in angle. We're turning the corner right there and seeing a different angle right here. This is the edge, and then this is the face of the headboard. Even with the upholstered piece here, just throw a little shading down on here, just so that it's more obvious that there's a change in angle. This is like the side of it, and this is the front of it. All right, excellent. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to draw a blanket, because this bed is kind of sad because it's just a naked bed. So we're going to put some linens and some, make it look like, you know, somebody actually lives here. So when you draw something on top of something else, or you have a person wearing clothes, you know, the clothes are on the outside, so the line should be drawn slightly to the outside of the object or the person so that they look like they're wearing clothes on top of their body. So sometimes linens or bed linens were called bed clothes, you know. So we're just going to put, that's an old-fashioned term, we're just going to draw a line just by hand. Now we don't want to use a ruler. Put the ruler away at this point. We want to use our hand drawn line and just draw a line that's somewhat parallel to the length of the mattress on this side, and then follow along the line for the top of the bed. And then also when you drop we're drawing a blanket now, when you drop from the corner down, because you want the blanket to cover up the mattress, right? Figure out where you want the blanket to come down to. Is it going to come down to this little tray here, or stop a little short? And then just follow along here. This is the edge of the blanket. Just follow along the edge of your mattress and your box spring line, and then for the corner, just kind of have the fabric of the blanket just kind of drape down like this at an angle, because it's filled with cushioning, right? Now erase all of the lines on the inside except for this line here and these two lines here to show the length and the foot of the mattress. We're going to do something with those in a second. Okay, since we drew our line by hand, it looks like, you know, the wrinkles on the fabric. It doesn't, I wanted to avoid having a line being looking really mechanical like you did it with a ruler on purpose, because then the blanket will not look like a blanket. It's going to look like a sheet or something tightly tucked into a mattress. You wanted to give it a kind of poofy look, like it's sitting on top of the bed. All right, now this is what I like to do, and it's totally up to you if you want to do this. You can leave these lines here, or what you could do is just erase them so that you could still see some of them. You could erase this one in the middle, but you'll still see them a little bit because the eraser doesn't remove all the pencil. And I like to just draw just kind of like a portion of the line by hand, so it looks natural. It doesn't have to go all the way to the corner. Just a suggestion of the edge of the mattress, just a suggestion. And here at the corner, I like to draw something that looks like this, like a little cone, almost without the top. And then over here, I'll just kind of put a little curve right there. And it just looks like, you know, the fabric bunched up at the corner right there. You could put a little waviness at the bottom too of the blanket just to make it look more natural. And here you could do that here. You could have the blanket kind of flare out a little bit because of all the stuffing, right, at the corners. Now the bed looks like it's definitely wearing a blanket on top. So we have a blanket. What if we have sheets? You know, are you the kind of person who likes to use sheets and right under your blanket? And do you like to kind of overlap them and fold them over the top of your blanket? That's an easy one. See, this is now we're getting into all the little fun stuff. Use Vanishing Point 2 from right over here, a little bit further down than the very top of the blanket. You just, as much, it depends on how much you want to overlap the sheets on top of the top of the blanket. Just very lightly draw a Vanishing Point 1 line and then draw over it with your hand-drawn line. And then where it meets this Vanishing Point 2 line, stop right there and then draw straight down. Now it looks like your blanket has a sheet that is, let me just make that a little less straight, like that. Now it looks like the blanket has a sheet that is covering over a portion of the top. All right, so this room is becoming a lot more inviting. So it's amazing how those little details can make it a lot more pleasant to look at. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to draw pillows, and we're going to do something similar to how we drew this upholstery on the headboard. You see how we started from this edge here, and the edge of something expresses how thick that object is, because it shows the thickness or the width of that object. I'm going to not draw the pillows sitting straight upright up against this headboard, although you can. Depends on how you like to decorate your bed. Some people like to just lay them straight down horizontally and put them on top of the bed. You could do that too. But I'm going to put them at a slight angle partially against the headboard and partially just kind of sitting at a angle on the mattress. So I'm going to draw something that looks like this. You don't want it to look perfect because pillows are all squishy, right? You put your head down and they get all squished and bent out of shape and distorted. So this kind of looks like a baguette or like a giant grain of rice. You might say to yourself, what is that? That's going to represent the side of your pillow, like the side edge of your pillows, okay? And we're going to draw more than one. So I want you to put a little point, a little dot at the very, very top of your pillow. Let's say that's the top, right there. And let's put a point at the very bottom of that little round oval shape, that skinny oval shape. Kind of looks like a caterpillar. Now from those dots, I want you to draw to Vanishing Point 1, like that. And from the bottom, draw to Vanishing Point 1 as well. Do you now see where I'm going? I'm actually drawing the top and bottom of the pillow. Erase the bed and anything inside the pillow that is covered up by the pillow. And some of you at this point are going to get upset and you're going to say, well, I just spent all that time making those buttons and now I erased it. All I can say to you about that is too bad, because this object is overlapping the other object. So if it's in front, that's going to be visible and the thing behind it is not. So you're just going to have to get over it, right? You're going to have to get over it. Over here, you see this curve right over here? We are going to draw a parallel curve on the opposite side. Just do it by hand. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, we don't want it to be perfect because then it's not going to look natural. All right, here we go. Okay, you know what does not look natural is the top of that pillow. Look at how straight and perfect that line is. No, we don't want that. So we're going to go over that with a hand-drawn line because that is actually better in this case. And the same thing with the bottom of that pillow. You don't want a pillow that looks hard and starched and stiff. We want a soft pillow. So it's okay to have some little waviness to your line. It's okay, not too much, but some. At this point, this looks like one of those giant body pillows. And you can keep it as one big pillow, or you could go and split that up into two pillows. And that means we have to kind of find the center. So how do we find a center? If you look at the front of this pillow here, it's just basically, it looks like a soft rectangular shape. So all you have to do is crisscross over at the corners of the front of the pillow, not the side. You don't have to count the side. Just put a light line crisscross to find the center, and the center is right here. Right? So what you can do, don't draw a line straight through it because that's going to look very weird. What you want to do is draw this curve here on the left side, and we're going to draw that curve again over here. Okay, like that. Okay, well, that looks nice, you might say, but it doesn't look quite right. There's something not right. It just looks like there's a piece of string wrapped around a giant body pillow. How do I actually make it look like two separate pillows? Well, this is how to do it. I want you to just leave a little bit of a gap between the two pillows and draw a little curve right there. That's parallel. Okay. All right, so what we might have missed a minute or two of this dresser drawing. What I did here was I drew the legs of the dresser. So in order to draw the legs of the dresser, here is the side of the dresser right over here. And then I drew the other side of the front of the leg, which is just a parallel vertical line. But then, for the other side of that leg, and I shaded it in dark, I switched it up and used Vanishing Point 2 to draw the bottom of that side of the leg here. Let me make that line a lot darker. Right there. Sharpen my pencil here. Okay. I also put you know that line that we used to draw the front of the leg of the dresser? I just scratched in a little shadow right under this piece of furniture, and a little bit of a shadow, a lighter shadow up against the wall, because the shadow would be there up against the wall too, a little bit, cast by the dresser, you know, because light doesn't get in there as much as, let's say, you know, just like on the wall. It would be a little bit dark down there. We'll use Vanishing Point 2 to start drawing a little piece of trim on the top of the dresser, the front top of the dresser like that. A piece of trim. And then let's draw a line here in line with the leg. Another piece of trim here. And then let's put another line for where we want the bottom of the last drawer to be, right here. So we have 1 line, 2 line, and 3 line. Okay, and you could just leave these lines here that extend. Let's switch this one up to more of a vertical line going across here. Okay. So we want to fit our drawers in here. So let's cut that into 3 equal sections. And you could put the drawers right up against each other. Or you can leave a little bit of space, which will be a little bit more work. So I'm just going to cut them into thirds. Put a dot right over here and use Vanishing Point 2 to draw the front, the bottom of each drawer. Here's one, and here's the last line we have to draw. And hopefully the drawers will look even, if we're lucky. Or not, because right now I'm using this kind of floppy paper ruler. Ugh, that looks terrible. So let me just move it over here because I have a little surface I'm drawing on. The bottom, oh, I see the bottom line was off. Here we go. Should be more like that. Something just didn't look right. Here, the bottom of my dresser line, it was a little off. Should go like that. Should angle downward. All right, so here is my dresser over here. It's a very modern piece, so maybe there isn't a knob. Sometimes there's 2 if the dresser drawer is extra long. So maybe instead of having a knob, maybe it has like a notch. It could have a notch underneath, and you just pull on the notch that's underneath. So we don't know where the center of how long this drawer is because the rest of the dresser is off the page. We really don't know. So let's just pick a point, and let's say something reasonable. Let's say, because the dresser drawer should not be super duper long and go on forever. Let's just say that that's the center. So what we could do is just kind of draw a little notch cut into the wood, and that's where you would just kind of stick your hand under there and just like pull on the drawer. And the top of those notches could be a Vanishing Point 2 line because they are kind of long. Or if you don't like that idea, you could put a little circle in the middle to represent like a ceramic knob, you know, like a drawer pull type of thing. That's the most simplest drawer pull you can make, because a sphere, like a spherical knob, is a sphere from any angle. A sphere is a sphere is a sphere, right? It's not going to look any different from any other angle. It's just going to look round no matter what. And then we could put like a little extra edge on the left side edge if you want. Just thinking which edge would we see? Oh, wrong. It would be on the right side edge. Right? So it would be on the right side edge. So maybe it would be right here on this edge. Like that. Right? Because I'm thinking about, you can see the inside edge of this window, so we should, on the right, so we should see the inside edge of this little notch on the right as well, if we're going to follow the correct rules of perspective. I'm probably breaking every rule of perspective because this is, like I said, there could be an expert on perspective who's definitely going to see like 101 mistakes here. If I wanted to be like perfectly accurate, but I'm not. I'm just creating a sense of a three-dimensional space. So there, now my little notches in here, those little, that it should be shaded a little bit lighter in there than the side. Let's make the side a little darker. So it looks like it's kind of recessed in and carved in, those little notches. So this is a very modern looking piece of furniture, very minimal, as they say, not a lot of fancy details, because this is kind of a modern headboard and a very modern frame for this bed. So you should, well, it's up to you. I'd like to usually keep to a certain style. If it's modern, just have everything look modern. If it's old-fashioned looking, have all the furniture look kind of old-fashioned and have fancier legs and details and things like that, which could be very, very hard to draw for a beginner. Now what I'm going to do is draw a rug. So I'm going to draw an area rug. An area rug is a little bit different from wall-to-wall carpeting, because wall-to-wall carpeting is literally that. It's carpet that stretches from one wall to the other and covers the entire floor. An area rug is just a smaller rug you buy to put under a couple pieces of furniture. So let's line up the area rug. We'll just say it's in front of the door frame. And it doesn't, let's just use Vanishing Point 1. And let's say the area rug is in front of the door frame, and this line right here, and it goes pretty far. Let's say it ends right over here. Use Vanishing Point 2 to draw the other side of that rug. Okay, like, the side, the length of the bed. This is the length of the rug here, like that. Now, this is one of those things which might make you upset, because you're going to have to erase the wooden floor. If you like how the wooden floor looks, then certainly don't draw a rug, or draw the rug smaller. Okay, for me, I'm going to have the rug, let's see, just kind of around the bed. Most people would probably want to have it under the dresser too, but just for this drawing, let's just have it be, let's just have it stop right here. And we could just use the same line for the floor that was on the floor for the when we drew the wood. I'm going to draw, using Vanishing Point 1 for the back, a border around the rug. So the space of the border stripe is going to be skinnier back here, and then it's going to be a vanishing point line. Let me flip the ruler over here. For over here on the side, so the line is going to get just continually get kind of wider spaced as it comes toward us, like that. Just going to fix that little bump right there, because that's where the ruler attached to my paper strip. And I'm going to actually make the rug a little bit longer by putting the border line on the outside of this line here. And then go over that with the ruler, make it darker, and get rid of that little bump. Okay, now I'm going to erase all the lines on the inside. When you do that, hopefully you have a bigger eraser on hand than I do. And get rid of all these little stripes here, because they are actually a part of the floor. There's no shadow under the bed. Although you could have possibly a shadow a little bit to the right. I don't know. But we also have a light. We have a light coming from the window, and we also have a light directly overhead. So if you don't want to put a shadow to the right, you don't have to. You don't have to. Not like, a piece of furniture that's lifted off the floor. If there was a little bit of space between the bed and the floor, you could put a shadow underneath there. But with this bed style, no, it's just sitting right on top of the floor, so you don't have to. Okay, and oh, forgot to put the other border on this side. So I'm going to use my Vanishing Point 2 line and just draw a really skinny line there. Let's see, the rug is in front of the dresser. Okay, so now we have a rug. Just getting rid of my little floor lines a little bit. And it has like a border going around it. If you wanted to, and if you want to take your drawing to the next level, you could draw a pattern on there, but be aware the pattern has to also be in perspective. So if you start drawing lines, it could do something really weird and give you a weird visual effect, like the rug will look like it's standing up vertically. If you draw circles on it, they must be ovals, because a circle seen from any angle other than like a vertical angle is going to look like an oval this way, as opposed to a circle like that. Do you now see how that perspective of even designs on the rug can actually ruin your work if you don't do it correctly? The design will look like it's standing straight up. It's not going to look like it's on your rug. So if you wanted to put a bunch of polka dots and lines and just kind of like, just kind of make things up as you go along, that's fine too. The one thing we're missing is some curtains, so let's go ahead and draw some curtains. And we're going to use a Vanishing Point 2 line and draw two lines right above the windows. I'm leaving a little bit of space, just a little bit of space. I'm just going to draw a line right here and just make them kind of longer, because I'm not sure how far out each curtain rod is going to go past the sides of the windows. And then just draw another Vanishing Point 2 line above it. So it's going to look like a pair of eyebrows right above my window. The curtain rod should be a little skinnier because it's further away on this side and a little thicker on this side. So I'm just trying to keep my paper. It's getting kind of beat up at this point. Okay, like that. All right, so to draw a curtain rod, I'm going to draw, let's just say that the rod goes out about that much. And on this end, let's draw a ball. This could be made out of ceramic oftentimes. Metal could be just like a solid silver or gold ball. And on this side, however, you should kind of see where the rod actually goes into that ceramic sphere or ball, like how the thing is put together. So it should be a little curved line. And then draw a smaller sphere on this side. You could actually go ahead and draw the sphere and then erase that part that's overlapped by the actual curtain rod here. Just make sure it looks smaller on the opposite side, like that. Now I want you to do the same thing here. Figure out where you want the curtain rod to stop on this window, and then draw the sphere on this end. And make sure that this sphere looks smaller than that one, because it's even further away. Right? Right. Okay. Maybe make this a little bit shorter, and then just draw a really small sphere on this side, because that's even further away. All right, now we have curtain rods. What we're going to do next is to draw some curtains on here. So I'm going to draw a curved line and then have that like a little skinny oval going behind the curtain rod, and from the top of that oval, draw a little wavy line. This is going to represent the kind of like the scrunched up fabric of the curtain. Okay, because it's nice when you have a lot of material that looks more That looks more luxurious than like just a real smooth curtain just hanging there. When you have lots of material, kind of abundant amounts of material. So here we're going to make those little squiggly lines a little bit closer together because we're looking at this, even the curtains bunched up at the top of the rod from a distance, so that's going to look smaller too. Draw all this by hand. You don't want to draw any of this curtain with the ruler. This is another fabric piece, so you want to draw these lines, these vertical lines here. We're going to make the curtain go behind the dresser, right? Because the window is behind the dresser too. So right here where the rod joins the little sphere here, we're going to draw the fabric. That's where the fabric would end. And we want the curtain to be slightly open in the center. So right here. And here's the line for where the floor, see where the floor meets the wall? Make the curtain go be like a little bit past that line so that it looks like it's in front of the wall, because it is. And then over here, draw a second line. That's the little part or the space between the two pieces of material. Okay. And now it looks like we have two curtains that are slightly open in between. Let's get rid of that little bumpy thing right there. And just kind of loop the material around. To make the curtains look like bunched up fabric, right where the low parts of these little waves are, I want you to draw two lines. It could be a single line too. Just kind of be a little bit more random about if you want to draw a single line at the bottom of those little, like, let's say the curtains are peaks and valleys like that, right at the top of the curtain rods. Right where the valleys are, put two lines like that. And you can just bring the line down a little further on some of them, and others just keep them a little shorter. And you could also just draw some lines at the bottom if you have enough, space to show all that happening. All right, let's do the same thing on this side with this curtain. Draw a hand-drawn line. Do not make the sides too wavy or your curtains will look like bacon. Bacon curtains. We don't want bacon curtains. Wavy bacon. Okay? Just hand draw the lines, as I've seen, or, flamboyantly have the curtain lines slant out too much, or it's going to look like there's a very strong breeze blowing through your room. If that's the story you want to tell, here, draw some lines up from the bottom too. If that's the story you want to tell, then tell that story. Go for it. But it might look a little strange. Okay, so now we have sheer curtains. So if I was to take it a step further and draw, color this in with colored pencil, I would make those lines for the wrinkles and for the outside of the curtain a little bit darker, and then fill in with, just a little less pressure on your colored pencil to make a lighter value with the color to create like a sheer effect for those curtains. And there certainly is sheer curtains out there, right? Yes. Yes, there are. So right here, right where these little bumps meet, I'm going to bring that line down slightly and then back up, just like kind of like the top of a heart. Just makes it look a little bit more 3D. Okay. All right, so we have curtains. Where is our door? It's just a doorway, but there's no door. So you could just have it as a doorway, but if you want a door, then you're going to have to draw a door. So then you have to think about, how does the door swing out? So if you're going to have a door that swings inward, it's going to be up against this wall over here. It wouldn't be over here, or you would be hitting your bed. You could also have the door swinging outward into the hallway, and if it's fully open, then you don't have to draw the door. So let's just say that's the story and not draw the door. But if you wanted to draw a door, all you would have to do is the door would line up with the inside line, and you would put it right over here. Okay, and then you would leave just a single line here. You would have to erase this side edge, and that would be, and then right here, it would be lined up with this same line here. And the doorknob would be over here outside your paper, so you wouldn't even have to draw the doorknob. It would be lower than the frame because a door has to fit inside of the door frame. It's not like sitting on top of the door frame. It would actually cover up this hole right here. So it would only be as big as this space in here, if you get that. Look at doors. Even doors have different styles too. But let's not get into that, okay? We're not going to get into that. There is one more thing we could do, which is we could add something to the foreground here. So your name is over here, but we can move your name over here because there's not a lot of space. You could put your period over here and then the date over here. So what I have planned for this space right over here is going to be a device that I've really liked to use a lot in drawings to lead the eye in, and also to give it a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. So I like to put like a vase or a potted plant. So I'm going to put a potted plant here and just give it a nice, we're going to be looking down on it because most potted plants don't have planters that are taller than us or even at our eye level. They're usually lower, much lower. So let's draw the open top of a planter and then have the sides sloping in slightly. Remember, a flower pot is kind of like a cylinder. It's like between a cylinder and a cone, and the sides will slope in. You could just hand draw it. I'm going to pause it here.